Let's also welcome in now Carrie Severino. She's the president of the Judicial Crisis Network. She's also a former clerk to Justice Clarence Thomas. Carrie, great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
First off, let's get your reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling today.
Yeah, I just think it's an incredible day to be able to recognize that we have a court with a majority of justices who are willing to interpret the Constitution as it's written, not substituting their own policy views for it, but just saying what's in the text of this document, and we're going to do it. And even knowing that they probably could hear outside if they're at the court, the shouting crowds, people threatening riots, people threatening violence, actual violence, firebombing, crisis pregnancy centers across the country, attempted assassination. They've had to weather a lot, and yet they've stood courageous against that. I think it's a wonderful day to be able to recognize we have a court that is that committed to the rule of law.
You know, it's interesting to listen to the president just moments ago saying that he wants the protest to remain peaceful, that there'll be no intimidation. A few weeks ago, when there were protesters outside, justices' homes, it was sort of a step back, and the White House was saying this is okay. Obviously, an attempted assassination on Justice Kavanaugh. It seems now, at least, the White House, they almost had to throw that in fears of what these radical groups could be planning for tonight, Carrie.
Yeah, because there are people who are very much not peaceful. Again, these same Antifa-connected groups that are connected to BLM, groups that have not been peaceful, and including on this issue, are acting and behaving very violently. So I think, it's good to hear the president endorsing peaceful protests only. I'm glad most of the action seems to be at the Supreme Court, but I'm still concerned that the justices' homes and their families are being protected in the face of all this. And I hope that the Department of Justice is very clearly enforcing all of the federal laws that protect everything from churches to pro-life pregnancy centers, in addition to abortion clinics, in the wake of this decision.
Carrie, one of the things we've heard already from President Biden right there, and also from Nancy Pelosi earlier today, is that they think the Supreme Court is going to go further than where they went today. I'm looking at a story from the Houston Chronicle right now. They're saying gay marriage could be the next thing to go, and they specifically cite something that Justice Thomas wrote in his opinion. Quote, "We have a duty to correct the error," he said, "established in those precedents." And from that, so many liberals are now saying, well, they're going to go after everything, equal protection for marriage and other issues. But nobody seems to be focusing in that crowd on what Justice Alito wrote, that this is specifically tailored to this issue alone, and they don't want their ruling misinterpreted.
Yeah, I mean, the Pelosi's, the Schumers, the Bidens of the world are trying to use this case to fearmonger because they know they want any way they can to change the subject from the tanking economy to a different topic. They're hoping to get the American people switched to a topic they think might be better ground for them. Here's the problem. Justice Thomas's statements is consistent with everything he's said before. It's right. No new news that he wants to get rid of substantive due process, and that is the basis for some of those decisions. But the idea that you have a majority of the court that would ever do that is ludicrous, especially in light of Justice Kavanaugh's own opinion, clearly stating that the majority opinion itself, which says the draft opinion said, and this opinion even added more language clarified. No, this case is about abortion. It's not about Brown versus Board of Education. It actually endorses Brown versus Board of Education. It's not about same-sex marriage. It's not about contraception. Those are just talking points the left is doing to try to even further politicize an already very hot button topic. Guys, it's controversial enough. Don't try to pretend this decision outlaws, a huge wish list of ideas for you, when in fact, all it does is address the issue of is abortion in the Constitution.
But if they don't, then they can't talk about packing the court. We know that's something else that they want to do as well. Carrie Severino, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.